Midnight Family Secrets presents. My name is Serena Hartwell, and I was 38 years old when a single message the night before Mother's Day made me realize that in my family being useful had never meant being loved. It started with something so ordinary that I almost missed the moment my life changed. I was standing in my kitchen checking the final confirmation for the next morning, making sure the brunch reservation was still set, the flowers were still scheduled, and the photographer still had the correct time. Everything was already handled. Everything was already paid for. Everything was under my name, the way it always was when my family wanted something to look effortless. Then my phone lit up with the family group chat. My mother tagged me in front of everyone and wrote, "Stay home tomorrow. Don't come. We're tired of your side of the family." For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen. Not because I was confused, but because there was no gentle way to misunderstand it. My husband and my children were not family to them. They were noise. They were baggage. They were the people my mother wanted removed from the picture before the nice Mother's Day photos were taken. Then my father liked the message. A moment later, my sister reacted like it was funny. I typed back, "So that's what we are to you." No one answered. They just kept talking over me, joking about outfits, brunch, flowers, and the summer vacation they were already planning as if I had not just been told to disappear. That was when something inside me went completely still. I did not cry. I did not ask them to explain. I set my phone on the counter, opened my email, then my banking app. Then every account they had forgotten was connected to me. They thought I would still show up. They thought I would still pay. They thought I would swallow the insult because that was what I had always done. 10 minutes later, the group chat exploded. At 11 p.m., my sister tagged me. At 11:11 p.m., my mother tagged me. At 11:15 p.m., my father tagged me. All of them nonstop. And that was when they realized the woman they told to stay home was the only reason Mother's Day was happening at all. Before I tell you what disappeared that night, why they panicked before midnight, and how one message exposed years of disrespect, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, in a house where image mattered more than honesty. My mother, Denise Langford, cared deeply about how our family looked from the outside. The lawn had to be trimmed before neighbors could notice. The Christmas card had to look polished. The church potluck had to make people say, "Denise, you always do things so beautifully." My father, Russell Langford, was quieter, but he protected that image just as fiercely by never correcting her when she was wrong. If my mother said something cruel, he called it stress. If my sister, Chelsea Langford, created chaos, he called it a rough season. If I got hurt, he called it being sensitive. Chelsea was the daughter everyone noticed first. She had the bright smile, the perfect hair, the easy confidence, and the talent for making every room feel like it had been waiting for her to walk in. My mother loved that. Chelsea was the one she posted about. Chelsea was the one she took shopping before family events. Chelsea was the one who got praised for showing up even when other people had done the work that made the event possible. I was different. I was the practical one, the calm one, the one who remembered birthdays, cleaned up kitchens, handled details, and noticed problems before they became embarrassing. When I was 12, I learned how to make dinner because my mother was tired and Chelsea had dance practice. When I was 14, I learned how to calm my father down when Bill stressed him out. When I was 16, I learned that saying, "I need help too," only made everyone look at me like I had broken some silent agreement. Chelsea got softness. I got expectations. If she cried, everyone gathered around her. If I cried, my mother said, "Serena, you're stronger than that." For years, I believed that was a compliment. I thought being strong meant I was trusted. I thought being dependable meant I mattered. But looking back, I understand that strength became the word they used whenever they wanted me to accept less. When Chelsea turned 16, my parents helped her get a used convertible because my mother said she needed freedom and confidence. When I turned 16, I got a bus pass and a reminder that independence builds character. When Chelsea forgot her responsibilities, my mother said she was young. When I made one mistake, I got a speech about maturity. Every lesson in our house seemed to have two versions. One version protected Chelsea. The other version trained me to sacrifice quietly. Mother's Day was always the clearest example. My mother treated it like a royal holiday. She expected flowers, brunch, cards, photos, gifts, and gratitude, but she rarely seemed interested in the kind of love that did not come wrapped in performance. When I was 17, I saved money from my weekend job and baked her a lemon cake from scratch because she once mentioned loving lemon desserts when she was younger. I stayed up late making it, cleaned the kitchen afterward, and placed it on the counter the next morning with a handmade card. She smiled for 2 seconds, then turned to Chelsea because Chelsea had bought her a scarf from a boutique downtown. My mother held that scarf up like it was a family treasure. My cake sat untouched until the frosting started to dry. That was my childhood in one picture. My work was useful. Chelsea's gestures were precious. The worst part was that nobody ever said it openly. Nobody sat me down and said, "Serena, your job is to make life easier for the rest of us." They simply acted like it was true until I believed it too. If my mother needed someone to pick up groceries, she called me. If my father needed help understanding a bill, he called me. If Chelsea had another emergency, everyone expected me to care more about fixing it than asking why it kept happening, and I did. I showed up again and again because I thought that was what love looked like. I thought if I stayed patient enough, gave enough, forgave enough, and proved myself enough, one day my family would look at me with the same warmth they gave Chelsea for simply existing. That day never came. Instead, the older I got, the more they leaned on me. Their gratitude shrank while their expectations grew. By the time I left home, I had already been trained to confuse being needed with being loved. That mistake followed me for years, and it almost cost me the family I built for myself. That afternoon, I did not go to a waterfront brunch. I did not fix the reservation. I did not call the florist. I did not comfort my mother through the consequences of her own words. I stayed home, not because she told me to, but because I chose the home where I was actually loved. Cole made pancakes for dinner because Ethan insisted pancakes tasted better when grown-ups stopped pretending they were only breakfast food. Maya made me a card covered in crooked hearts and wrote, "Thank you for choosing us." I had to sit down after reading that. Children notice more than we want them to. They notice when their mother gets quiet after certain phone calls. They notice when adults treat them like problems. They notice when love feels like something their mother has to earn. That day, I decided my children would not learn that from me anymore. Later, Maya asked if I was sad that Grandma did not want us there. I told her the truth in the gentlest way I could. I said, "I am sad she said it, but I am proud we did not beg to be loved." That became the real Mother's Day lesson in our house. Love is not supposed to make you erase your own family to keep another one comfortable. Helping people can be beautiful, but help without respect becomes a trap. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are how we teach people that kindness is not the same as permission. For years, I thought being a good daughter meant saying yes, paying quietly, forgiving quickly, and making sure no one else felt uncomfortable. But that only taught the wrong people that they could wound me and still count on me to make their lives easier. The lesson I want my children to carry is different. Family should be a place where your presence matters more than your usefulness. Family should not require a receipt, a performance, or a silent sacrifice. And if someone only values you when you are solving their problems, you are allowed to stop calling that love. A few days later, my mother sent an email that said, "I am sorry if you felt hurt." I read it once and closed it. That was not accountability. That was an attempt to reopen the door without admitting who slammed it first. Maybe one day she will understand. Maybe she will not. But I am no longer building my peace around her ability to be fair. That Mother's Day, I lost the illusion of the family I thought I had. But I gained something better. I gained the courage to protect the family I had built. And if you have ever been the person everyone depends on but no one truly sees, remember this. You do not have to keep paying the price of belonging in a place that only welcomes what you provide. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to say enough. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and your children is to stop proving your worth to people who benefited from pretending not to see it.